Your expensive 4K TV still sounds terrible. So, which 5.1 soundbar actually delivers clear dialogue, powerful bass, and real surround sound without wasting your money? Today, I'll reveal the best 5.1 soundbars for different rooms and budgets, plus the hidden drawbacks most reviews never tell you. Like the video and subscribe for honest soundbar reviews that help you buy smarter. Comment. Make sure to tell me what the next video should be about. And check the description for best prices and product links. The foundations. Before choosing a soundbar, you need to understand one thing. The most expensive system isn't automatically the best system for your room. A true 5.1 setup uses 5 physical speaker channels, front left, center, front right, and 2 surround speakers, plus a dedicated subwoofer for deep bass. Those physical rear speakers are what create genuine immersion, while the center channel keeps dialogue anchored to the screen. This is the difference between simply making your TV louder and actually creating a home theater experience. The next factor is your room size, and this is where many buyers go wrong. A powerful soundbar system in a tiny room can produce excessive, boomy bass, while an undersized system can disappear in a large, open space. Think of your room as part of the audio system itself. A compact bedroom or apartment needs a different solution from a large, dedicated theater. That's why the right soundbar isn't just about price or brand. It has to match the space you're actually listening in. Then there's the biggest complaint with modern TV audio. Dialogue you can barely understand. Movie soundtracks can jump from quiet conversations to massive explosions in seconds, and weak TV speakers struggle to reproduce that range cleanly. A dedicated center channel gives voices their own job, keeping dialogue clear even when everything else is happening around it. Some soundbars also include dedicated voice enhancement modes, which can make a surprisingly big difference when watching movies or TV at lower volumes. You also need to understand Dolby Atmos and DTS-X before paying extra for them. Standard 5.1 creates a horizontal soundstage around you, while Atmos and DTS-X add a height dimension. Some soundbars use upward-firing drivers to bounce sound from the ceiling, while others create the effect through virtual processing. Physical up-firing speakers generally provide a more convincing result, but your room matters. A relatively flat, reflective ceiling around 8 to 12 feet high is usually ideal, while vaulted or heavily treated ceilings can reduce the effect. Connectivity is another major dividing line. eARC and eARC allow your TV to send audio back to the soundbar through HDMI, with eARC offering much greater bandwidth for higher quality formats such as Dolby True HD. For most streaming services, standard ARC can be sufficient, but eARC is the better long-term choice, especially if you use 4K Blu-ray or want maximum audio flexibility. Gamers should also pay attention to HDMI 2.1 pass-through, particularly if they want 4K at 120 Hz from a PS5, Xbox Series X, or compatible PC. Finally, don't let the word wireless fool you. A wireless subwoofer or rear speaker system still needs power from a wall outlet. Wireless simply means the audio signal doesn't require a traditional audio cable from the main soundbar. Placement also matters because wireless connections can sometimes experience interference from routers and other devices. Once you understand these basics, choosing the right soundbar becomes much easier because you can focus on what actually matters instead of getting distracted by marketing numbers. The budget champion, Ultimia Poseidon D50. At number 5, we have the Ultimia Poseidon D50, and this system is built around one simple idea. Give buyers genuine surround sound without forcing them to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars. If you just bought a new TV and your budget is tight, this is the kind of system that makes sense. It's designed for bedrooms, dorms, apartments, and smaller living spaces where you want a major upgrade over built-in TV speakers without chasing premium features. The biggest advantage is that you get a complete 5.1 system rather than a basic soundbar. The package includes the main soundbar, a subwoofer, and 2 rear speakers, giving you physical surround channels that can actually place effects behind you. Movies immediately feel more immersive, with explosions gaining weight and background effects spreading around the room instead of being concentrated at the TV. The subwoofer also adds an important layer that most television speakers simply cannot reproduce. Bass gives action scenes impact, makes music feel fuller, and adds weight to sound effects. Ultimia's Bass MX processing is designed to extract more impact from the compact system, while the rear speakers help create separation between the front and back of the room. For the money, the overall presentation can be surprisingly enjoyable. Another practical advantage is the relatively simple setup. The rear speakers connect through the included system wiring, while the wireless subwoofer keeps the front of the room cleaner. You also get different EQ modes and app-based control, giving you some flexibility to adjust the presentation for movies, music, or other content. It's not an audiophile platform, but it gives budget buyers useful control without making the system unnecessarily complicated. Of course, there are compromises. The Poseidon D50 does not provide Dolby Atmos or DTS-10, so you're getting conventional 5.1 surround rather than height-based immersive audio. The construction is also more focused on affordability than luxury, and the remote and overall materials won't feel like a premium flagship system. For the most reliable connection, HDMI eARC is the sensible choice. The verdict is straightforward. The Ultimia Poseidon D50 is a strong choice when your priority is getting real surround sound for as little money as possible. It won't compete with premium Samsung or Sony systems, but that's not its purpose. If you're tired of weak TV speakers and want physical rear channels, a dedicated subwoofer, and a genuine 5.1 experience on a tight budget, this is where the value starts. The apartment choice, Sony HT S40R. At number 4, we have the Sony HT S40R, a system designed for people who want genuine surround sound but don't necessarily need massive bass or complicated features. This is especially interesting for apartment and condo owners. You get a complete 5.1 configuration with dedicated rear speakers and a subwoofer. But the overall system is easier to live with in a smaller space. The biggest strength of the HT S40R is dialogue clarity. Sony gives the system a dedicated center channel, allowing voices to remain focused in the middle of the screen instead of getting buried underneath music and effects. That's particularly useful when watching movies or shows at lower volumes. If your biggest or showed is constantly reaching for the remote because you can't understand conversations, this system directly addresses that problem. The surround experience is also a major improvement over built-in TV speakers. The rear speakers create actual channels behind your seating position, allowing ambient effects and directional sounds to move beyond the front of the room. A separate wireless amplifier handles the rear speakers, so you don't need to run a long speaker cable from the soundbar across the room. You still need power near the rear setup, but the overall installation is much cleaner. Sony also keeps the system straightforward, with up to 600 W of total power. The HT S40R has enough output for small and medium-sized rooms without requiring complicated calibration or extensive manual tweaking. Simple modes, such as cinema and voice, let you quickly adjust the presentation depending on what you're watching, making it approachable for someone who doesn't want to spend hours inside audio menus. The main limitation is that this isn't a modern flagship Atmos system. The HT S40R doesn't support Dolby Atmos or DTS. And its HDMI connection uses standard ARC rather than eARC. That means it's perfectly suitable for conventional 5.1 streaming audio, but buyers looking for advanced immersive formats, lossless audio, or the latest gaming connectivity will need to move higher up the market. For the right buyer, however, those missing features aren't necessarily deal breakers. The Sony HT S40R makes the most sense for someone who wants physical rear speakers, strong dialogue clarity, controlled bass, and an uncomplicated setup in a smaller room. If your priority is enjoying movies without shaking the entire apartment building, this is a practical and sensible 5.1 choice. The best overall value. Hisense AX5125H. At number 3, we reach what I consider the sweet spot of this entire list. The Hisense AX5125H. This is where the feature set becomes significantly more interesting without the price jumping into premium territory. It's designed for buyers who don't just want louder TV audio. They want physical rear speakers, deeper bass, Dolby Atmos, and a genuinely immersive movie experience without spending flagship money. The biggest upgrade is the 5.1/2 channel configuration. Along with the front and rear surround channels, the soundbar includes 2 upward-firing drivers designed to bounce sound off the ceiling. When you're watching compatible Dolby Atmos content, these height channels add another dimension to the soundstage. Rain, aircraft, explosions, and other effects can appear to move above you, creating a much larger sound field than conventional 5.1 systems. The physical rear speakers are equally important because they provide actual surround channels behind your seating position. Combined with a dedicated center channel, the system can create a much more convincing cinema-style presentation. Dialogue remains focused toward the screen, while effects spread across the room, and the wireless subwoofer adds the low-end impact needed for action movies. For the average living room, this combination delivers a lot of performance for the money. The AX5125H also brings useful modern features to the mid-range category. It supports Dolby Atmos and DTS, X includes eARC, and provides multiple sound modes and EQ presets for different types of content. That means you can take advantage of higher quality audio from compatible TV apps and connected sources without needing a separate AV receiver and speaker package. There are some compromises, and they're worth knowing before buying. The system doesn't include built-in Wi-Fi, so features such as Chromecast, AirPlay, and Smart Assistant integration aren't part of the package. Music streaming is primarily handled through Bluetooth, and there isn't the kind of advanced smartphone ecosystem or automatic room calibration found on more expensive competitors. But if your priority is sound quality and immersive movie performance, those omissions are relatively easy to accept. The Hisense AX5125H delivers physical rear speakers, a dedicated subwoofer, Dolby Atmos, DTS, X, and height effects at a price point that makes this kind of setup accessible to far more people. That's why it earns the number 3 position as the best overall value for buyers who want maximum home theater performance without paying premium prices. The upgradable movie night hero, Samsung HW Q800D. At number 2, we're moving into a more serious category with the Samsung HW Q800D. This is the soundbar for someone who wants premium performance today but doesn't want to lock themselves into a system that can't grow. It delivers a powerful 5.1 2-channel experience out of the box, combining side-firing and upward-firing drivers with a dedicated wireless subwoofer to create a much larger soundstage. The biggest attraction is its expandability. Unlike a basic all-in-one soundbar, the Q800D can be paired with Samsung's compatible wireless rear speaker kit. Adding the rear speakers transforms the system into a much more complete surround setup, giving you dedicated channels behind your seating position and additional upward-firing drivers for a stronger Atmos effect. Sound quality is another major step forward. The Q800D produces a wide front soundstage, strong dialogue reproduction, and significantly deeper bass than budget systems. Dolby Atmos content benefits from the upward-firing drivers, while the subwoofer adds the weight needed for action movies and music. If you also own a compatible Samsung TV, Q Symphony can combine the television speakers with the soundbar to create an even larger presentation. Samsung also includes SpaceFit Sound Pro, which automatically analyzes the room and adjusts the system's sound to better suit the environment. This is particularly useful because soundbars can perform very differently depending on placement and room acoustics. Instead of relying entirely on manual adjustments, the Q800D gives you an automated starting point that can make the overall presentation more balanced. The biggest weakness is that the system's ultimate potential requires additional spending. Without the rear speaker kit, you're still relying primarily on the soundbar's front and side drivers for surround effects. Adding the compatible rear speakers can dramatically improve immersion, but once that extra cost is included, the total investment moves considerably closer to flagship territory. That's why the Samsung HW Q800D is best suited to buyers who value flexibility. You get a powerful Dolby Atmos system immediately, but you also have the option to expand later when your budget or room allows. If you want premium sound today and a clear path toward a much more immersive home theater tomorrow, the Q800D is one of the smartest choices in this lineup. The no-compromise king, Samsung HW Q990D. At number 1, we reach the Samsung HW Q990D, the system designed for buyers who don't want compromises. Instead of starting with a basic soundbar and adding components later, the Q990D gives you an entire home theater package in one box. The main bar, wireless rear speakers, and powerful subwoofer work together as a complete 11.1 4-channel system, making it one of the most ambitious soundbar packages available. The biggest difference is the number of physical drivers working together. The main soundbar uses front, side, and upward-firing speakers, while the rear units also include forward, side, and upward-firing drivers. This creates a much larger sound field than a conventional soundbar, with effects capable of moving around the room and above your seating position. With Dolby Atmos or DTS-10 content, the system can produce a convincing three-dimensional presentation without requiring a traditional AV receiver and separate speakers. The subwoofer is another major part of the experience. Instead of simply adding a little extra bass, it provides the deep, low-frequency impact that makes explosions, music, and cinematic effects feel physical. Combined with the dedicated center channel and advanced processing, dialogue stays focused while the rest of the soundtrack expands across the room. The result is an all-in-one system that can deliver a surprisingly close approximation of a traditional home theater. Samsung also packs the Q990D with its most advanced processing features, including SpaceFit Sound Pro for room optimization and Q Symphony for compatible Samsung TVs. You also get 4K 120Hz pass-through, giving gamers the ability to connect modern consoles directly through the soundbar while maintaining high frame rate gaming. Unlike the Q800D, the Q990D already includes the advanced rear speakers, so there is no separate upgrade kit required. There are still two important drawbacks. First is the price, because this is a flagship system and costs significantly more than the budget and mid-range options on this list. Second is room size. Putting such a powerful system into a very small room can prevent you from getting the balanced presentation you're paying for. You'll also want to carefully consider placement so the upward-firing height channels have the best possible interaction with your ceiling. For buyers who want the strongest possible plug-and-play soundbar experience without building a traditional component system, the Samsung Q990D is the clear choice. It combines physical rear channels, 4 height channels, powerful bass, advanced processing, and modern connectivity into one complete package. If your budget is high enough, so, after comparing all 5 systems, the biggest lesson is simple. There isn't one soundbar that's perfect for everyone. The right choice depends on your budget, room size, priorities, and how much you care about features like Dolby Atmos, physical rear speakers, and future upgrades. Spending more only makes sense when the additional performance actually solves a problem you have. If your budget is extremely tight and you simply want to escape your TV's weak built-in speakers, the Ultimia Poseidon D50 is the value choice. It gives you a complete physical 5.1 system with rear speakers and a subwoofer without demanding a huge investment. You give up Atmos and premium features, but you still get genuine surround sound. For smaller rooms in apartment living, the Sony HT-S40R is the practical option. Its strong dialogue clarity, physical rear speakers, and controlled presentation make it particularly appealing when you want an immersive experience without excessive bass. It's not the most technologically advanced system, but it focuses on the fundamentals that matter. For the buyer who wants the strongest combination of price, features, and performance, the Hisense AX5125H is the standout value. Its 5.1.2 configuration, physical rear speakers, Dolby Atmos, DTS, X, and eARC give you many of the features people normally associate with much more expensive systems. It's the sweet spot for someone who wants modern home theater without going overboard. If you're looking for premium performance with an upgrade path, the Samsung Q800D is the smarter, long-term choice. And if you simply want the most complete experience available without building a traditional receiver-based system, the Samsung Q990D takes the top position with its 11.1.4 configuration, included rear speakers, powerful subwoofer, and advanced Atmos processing. Now the decision is yours. Think about your room, your budget, and the features you'll actually use before buying. If this guide helped you find the right system, hit like and subscribe for more straightforward soundbar and home theater guides. And let me know in the comments which of these 5 you'd choose for your own setup.